All right, y'all. You know how Steppin with Marcus J is live. We are in the building. We got a lot to get into tonight. Ferguson, Missouri. There's a lot going on there. We talking about the police shooting unarmed men and children dead in the street. We get into that. We got a special milestone that we are celebrating tonight. We got the return of Original. And you know how Steppin with Marcus J is live. We in the building, and we are right now.
It's about that time. It's about that time to get.
Button your lip, open your ears, strap on your thinking cap. Socially conscious talk that's entertaining with a dash of humor and the top sports stories of the week. It's time for Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J.
Sellers has Jordan. Jordan with 2 seconds to go. Puts it up and scores at the buzzer. Michael Jordan has won it for Chicago. Manning lobs it. Burris alone. Touchdown, New York.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. He hits one deep to right center. That ball is out of here. The Yankees win the pennant.
If they lying,
they must be half stepping.
they know how Steppin with Marcus J is live. We're back in the building. Be down with us tonight at 804-402-2893 to be down with the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio. Appreciate everybody that's listening to us tonight on TuneIn. Thank you to everybody that's listening to us on our replays on YouTube. And special thank you to everybody who used to listen to us on MixLR, had to change how they got down to be down with us here in studio. We appreciate every single person who has supported us here at Legacy Internet Radio. Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. We are sponsored by the Doctor of Optometry, Dr. Euphemia Huggins Williams, ODPC, Free Spirit Enterprises, as well as Live Action Captions. Thank you to everybody once again for listening to us. Call us up. We got a lot to get into tonight. We're not going to waste no time. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial. So at this time, as we do every single week, we go around the room and we introduce the crew. And joining me at the top of the show for the first time in a while, I'm happy to see her across the table. I got my co-host, S.Y. Butler. What's up, girl?
What's up?
How you doing?
I'm good. It's Monday. I'm excited. I like it on Mondays.
I bet you do. We haven't seen you up in this joint at this time in quite a while.
I know. What a surprise,
It is.
I was like, surprise.
Yeah, when you popped up on me, I said, "That's what it is. That's what it is." And so I see the crew is filtering in as we get around the room, get an opportunity to get everybody introduced and say hello to my extra special guest. I'm gonna save till last, so we'll save that person until last. But joining us as she does from time to time, sitting across from me, I got my sister Blessed in the building. What's up, girl?
Not a thing. How you doing today?
I'm doing fabulously. How you doing?
I can't complain. It's been a long weekend.
Yeah, I'm sure it has. We all got together this weekend and we took our Legacy Internet Radio photos. It was good to see you there, and you had to run though, because we know you had a whole bunch of stuff that you was doing.
I got into a lot of extra stuff afterwards, but that was a lot of fun to see everybody and just smile and
fun, right?
beautiful faces and pictures. I love pictures now.
I can dig it. And also joining us as she does from time to time, once a month typically, we got my sister Tony in the building. What's going on, girl?
Hello.
How you all doing today?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah, it was good to see you too. We saw you on Saturday.
Oh, yes, we had a good time as always.
Yes.
Taking pictures, being pretty and stuff.
We got a whole bunch of pictures that we're going to put out there publicly in the very near future. We had some photos that we took of the behind the scenes stuff, but once the actual full blast of pictures come out, then we're gonna get them out there. So of course, continuing the salutations, I'm coming to the First Lady Legacy Internet Radio. We got comedian S. Let's be in the building.
Ow, ow.
What's going on, girl?
Steppin with Marcus Marcus J. And happy 1 year. Hello to SY Butler. And hello to everybody who is in the room. Good evening, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And of course, making the long-awaited return to the building. We haven't had this brother in the building on Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J in quite a while. So I am very happy and proud to reintroduce to the listeners my brother, my partner, my friend, and we know him by the name of Big Rube.
Yo.
Big Rube.
Yo.
What's up, man?
Not much, man. Just chilling.
It's good to see you again, man.
I mean, I've been kind of, keep my face to the ground out of the sunlight, so I decided to pop out a little bit.
You like the shadow, man.
Hey, man, I be hiding.
He's a vampire.
He's a vampire. Well, it's good to see his vampiric ass up in here for the first time in quite a while and whatnot. It
That's
is.
why I get bit now.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Better watch out over there.
Yeah. So, well, I'm glad Lissa P went ahead and let it out because I was about to do that. And so we're going to go ahead and tell the whole world that we got a special show because I've kind of teased it a little bit social media. But tonight is my co-host 1 year anniversary here on Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J. So I'm glad and happy, and whatnot, to have my sister a part of the crew. She started off as one of our listeners, and she got so excited about listening to us. She said, I want to hang out with them people. They kind of cool. And that turned into her coming in here and being a part of the show permanently. So I'm happy to have you. I'm happy to see you. It's been you a year old. So what you gotta say for yourself?
I'm one.
You a mess is what you are.
I'm all happy and stuff.
Yeah, well.
Oh my gosh.
And you got a special guest that's in the building with you. You want to say peace to?
I do. Pandora. Say hello.
You want to say peace, Pandora?
Hi.
How you doing, girl?
Fine.
And we had seen Pandora in the building in quite a while, so I'm glad to see you back in the building. You doing all right over there?
I lost the pen.
Oh, damn. She done lost a pen.
That is my baby, y'all.
Yeah, well, I want to go and get right to the business at hand. We got just a packed show tonight, so we're not going to kind of take any detours. We're going to just jump right into it. And I guess the elephant in the room that we're going to let run wild is the goings on in Ferguson, Missouri. I teased it all week on social media, let the world know what we're going to be talking about. And if you want to call us up and be a part of the discussion on Ferguson, there's definitely many layers to this story that we're going to be getting into. 804-402-2893 is the number to dial to be a part of the discussion. Thank you to folks that are listening to us live on TuneIn as well as on YouTube. But we know a little over a week ago, officer, and we didn't know his name before, but we know his name now, Officer Darren Wilson, has fatally shot Mike Brown. He was an unarmed 18-year-old black male in Ferguson, Missouri, which we know that those actions have sparked outrage throughout the community. There's been all kinds of riots and looting and unrest and protests and pretty much any kind of civil disobedience that you can think of. Those types of goings on have been happening there in St. Louis County. What I want to do is just kind of take an opportunity to kind of get initial thoughts from everybody, what you're thinking. I wrote down a ton of notes, and so I'm pretty sure over the next hour or so while we're discussing this, there's going to be quite a few angles that will come up and come out. But as of right now, I just kind of want to get into the early stages of what it is we're going to get to and let the rest kind of flesh it out. And so, Big Rube, you haven't been here in quite a while. I know that you've got an opinion as to what's going on. Why don't we get you in here first? You know about Mike Brown getting shot by Darren Wilson, the police officer in Ferguson, Missouri. What's your initial thoughts, man?
Well, I'm going to be real honest with you. Because of the job that I have and what I do, I really don't know a lot about it. And I feel like that instead of speaking on with the very little knowledge that I have, I am attempting at this point in time to get more knowledge on it. So I think that I'm going to withhold my opinion until I have more knowledge on the situation. I've heard a couple different things, but to be perfectly honest with you, I can't give a really good opinion because I really don't know. the situation in its entirety.
That's why let's get you in on this one. I know that you've got an opinion as to what's going on in Ferguson. Why don't you tell me what your thoughts are?
It's just, again, it's sad, and it's another turn of events. Same thing that just keeps happening to us. I really don't know what to say. It's a shame, and hopefully, this kind of crap hurries up and comes to some sort of an end. And the fighting that they're doing now and the aftermath of it, I just don't know what to say anymore. I don't know.
Well, I unfortunately I think it's the beginning of something that's going to get bigger and bigger until we don't have a choice but to. The people that don't know are going to have no choice but to come to grips with it and have something to do with it. Unfortunately, people are going to use it as an excuse to start something. I think mainly the lighter race will try to start something with this.
You mean white folk?
Yeah, the white folks will try to start something with this because they just need an excuse. That's all they need. And as you can see, the KKK are trying to start things there also. So it's just an excuse for them to it's a catalyst for something, I believe.
Tony, what you think?
Honestly, you know what? I am just tired and I'm ready. I just want to see a change. It has to stop. I mean, it's unreal at this point. And being, the mother of a brown teenage
black man.
Yes. It's scary. It's very scary, but I'm just ready for change. I mean, how many times does this have to happen? For there to actually be real permanent change. That's it. I'm just over it. I'm over it.
All right, at this time, we had somebody new just stepped into the building, and so I want to give this brother an opportunity to jump in. You hear him as the one of the co-hosts right here on Legacy Internet Radio every single Thursday night on All Throttle Radio. I got my brother Dirk Dickler in the building. What's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, world?
You doing all right, man?
How's everyone at Ain't No Half Steppin' with Marcus J and S.Y. Butler?
We doing great, man. We doing great. As you walked in, we was talking about what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri, and I'm pretty sure you've been watching the happenings there as the rest of us had. And so as you were walking in, what I had asked everybody was their initial thoughts, because I got a ton of notes, a lot of stuff we're going to get into. And, if it's something that's not on my paper that you guys come up with, we can round table. I want to spend some time just kind of building on that. So what's your initial thoughts when you hear about this?
Like I've been saying for a while, it's to be expected. It's the shooting is nothing new of a young black man nowadays. And the response from the people is a little more. It's a little different. It's a little more aggressive. It's a little more just, I would say. But, both sides, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all.
Listen, P, what's your thoughts when you hear we've been talking about what's going on in Ferguson, Missouri? What's your thoughts?
My thoughts are sadness, disgust, disappointment on both parts. I can understand meaning our African American anger, the anger that we have towards this and in this situation, but to destroy your own neighborhood, that they're going to use your money or tax you even higher to rebuild. So just think, once you do get justice, because we all will get justice, and then once everything has settled, then what? You have to look at your city. So again, like they've asked for peace, again, how I feel about it, it's very disappointing and sad. And will things change now, being that the Mike Brown case is so big, just like it happens everywhere else? Will this open our eyes? Who knows? Like Dirk said, it's to be expected. I'm just sad. I'm just sad for everybody, for our side and really the officer who shot him said. You got to feel a little bit pity for him because he's not going to make it regardless of where he goes. So,
right.
yeah, he's going to live with it.
And, #Steppin Marcus J. Call us at 804-402-2893. That's the number to dial. I'll be honest with you. This really, really kind of pisses me off. I mean, last week at the end of the show, I talked in my rant very briefly about the killings of unarmed black men, and I read a bunch of names, which I'm going to do again right now. Oscar Grant in Oakland, Ramarley Graham in New York City, Travaris McGill in Sanford, Florida, Ronald Madison and James Brissett in New Orleans, Wendell Allen in New Orleans, Alonzo Ashley in New York City, Stephen Washington in L.A., Victor Steen in Pensacola, Aaron Campbell in Portland, Orlando Barlow in Vegas, Sean Bell in New York, Timothy Stansbury in New York, Asame Zongo in New York, Patrick Dorismond in New York, Amadou Diallo in New York, Irvin Jefferson in Atlanta, Timothy Russell in Cleveland, Kendrick McCade in Pasadena, Kimani Gray in New York, Eric Garner in New York, and now, of course, Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri. And I know for a fact there were at least two others whose names are escaping me. One was last week in Ohio, and another one was last week in Los Angeles County. So I'm gonna come to the brothers on this one. Ruben, I want you in here first. What the hell is the deal with, and those names that I just read, that's just since 1999, the oldest murder on that list of police-involved shootings of unarmed black men since 1999. I read 20 names just now, two of which happened that I didn't read their names because I can't remember them within the last week. If this was any other demographic, would we even be up to 20? If we were shooting white men, if we were shooting Asian men, if we were shooting white women, if we were shooting Puerto Rican women, I mean, are we tripping? Because I really wish, honestly, I wish we had some white folk that was listening to us regularly enough to try to balance this, because I don't want to come off as the one that's always complaining and stuff, but this is some real shit to be complaining about, in my opinion. To that, you say what?
I don't think we tripping. I think it's definitely prevalent, and I think a lot of it is due to the fear that some people have for black men. I can't say everybody has that fear, but clearly there are some people who have that fear for black men, and whether they feel a certain way due to what they see on television or a negative experience with another black male of the race. I mean, I don't know why that has felt that way, but do I think you're tripping? Definitely not. The fact that you even know the names, to me, seems like, why is that information even out there like that? Because
I'm sorry, Ruben. Go ahead, finish.
No, I mean, because like you bring up a really good point. What if it was white people, Korean people, whatever like that? Could you really just go back and find all that information? I mean, you would probably have to try, but the fact that since 1999 you have a list of unarmed black men being shot down by the police or whoever, to me that already says that there's something up.
Derek, I want to have you jump in here. As I mentioned to you, I want to get the brothers in on this one, because we represent, as men, as black men, these men and boys that are getting killed in the street. What's your thoughts, Derek?
I have a couple thoughts on it. First of all, is when the former majority gets scared, they are going to do wild and crazy things, like shoot unarmed people, shoot unarmed black men, start doing more militant things to show that they have power, even though their numbers are decreasing. I take you back to a time in South Africa, apartheid time, where the majority of the people were black Africans, but the race that was in power were the Dutch. They were doing crazy and wild things just like this, unarmed, shooting and killing unarmed black people, no justice for a long while. When your numbers gain, when their numbers were high, they really weren't doing stuff like this. But when their majority started to go down, thanks to our brown brothers and sisters, they are, I think, the minority now, one of the minorities now.
Right.
So you do crazy things like that. And my other point was, when you get a black man in office, it's just a little bit of hate there.
It's a little.
And they can't touch him.
It's a little extra. So you think they taking it out on the rest?
Why not?
On the rest of us?
Why not?
You
Look at Zimmerman. Look at
Jordan Davis.
The Jordan Davis. Look at now Mr. Brown, and is a number of others since President Obama has been in office. It's just hate.
Yeah.
It's just real hate.
You had mentioned, Dirk, a minute ago about what's going on in South Africa and how you had the minority numbers of people that were in the ruling party as opposed to the majority, which strikes me as pretty similar to how it was in Missouri. I don't have the specific numbers as to what the black population is in Ferguson, but we know it's high. I think it's like 85 or close to 90% when of the 50-something police officers on that police department, it's only like 2 or 3 of them that's black. So you got 50 white dudes that's policing this whole community of black people. I think when you get people that look like the people in the community, you have a better chance of having success. I want to introduce how the media is in control of these images here, because I found an article. That's why. Where did I see this article?
The Huffington Post, darling.
It was talking about how the media treats white suspects and killers better than they do the black victims. And it was interesting. You know, I won't read the entire article, but I'll just kind of give a couple of examples. And Tony, you got a black male at the crib. I want you to jump in here. You got the white suspect, Alabama suspect, was called Brilliant Social Misfit. Brilliant but social misfit. The black victim, Montgomery's latest homicide victim, had a history of narcotics abuse and tangles with the law. White suspect, son in Staten Island murders, was brilliant, athletic, but demons were the death of his parents. Black victim, Trayvon Martin, was suspended three times from school. White suspect, Oregon school shooting suspect, fascinated with guns but was a devoted Mormon. Black victim, police, Selene Lakeland teen had been shot before death possibly drug related. And there's more examples. I could read more. I'm not going to. When we speak of the images that we see, particularly when you had those rallies last week for the name of Darren Wilson, who's the officer who shot Mike Brown, and they took a week to put it out there. But when they put it out there, they put it out there alongside a video that allegedly shows Mike Brown, and they want to say robbery. First of all, I'll say this: that shit wasn't robbery. You can't rob nobody without no gun. There ain't no armed robbery without no gun. Now, he might have strong arm punked the dude, but he ain't robbing. That's like theft. But that's another discussion for later in the show. What's your thoughts when we talking about the differences between how white suspects are portrayed versus black victims?
I mean, you deflect. That's what you do when you can't think of any way to justify what's going on. You kind of redirect the attention the other way. And quite honestly, I don't think that they really need to deflect. I was reading something the other day, and I can't remember where it was, but just about how, and maybe it was something that you posted, someone posted about how, brown people get in such an uproar when somebody else does something to one of us, but we do these things to ourselves every day. And, it's like I said, they deflect, they try to justify what happens, they try to redirect our energy and our anger, but at the end of the day, they really don't need to. I don't want to get to the point where I feel like we're helpless. It doesn't matter what we do, but I just see things just eventually, there were the riots and people calmed down, said, no, let's be smart about it. Right. Let's boycott. Let's be peaceful. But people are going to get tired of doing that.
Right.
And if the only thing that you really respond to is us acting like wild donkeys, that's what we're going to do.
Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. Be down with us, 804-402-2893. Thank you to folks listening to us on TuneIn and listening to our replays on YouTube. Jackie is listening in Philly. Jackie says that our situation is more psychological than people will admit. Black kids kill black kids for the same reason cops do. They see no value. She's quoting David Banner, the rapper, who actually said that. Listen, P, I want you to jump in here. What's your thoughts when you hear that comment from someone that says that the cops, well, she didn't say it specifically, but she's saying about the value of black people is low for other black people, which may allude to the reason why that number that I was able to read with all the names of black men unarmed being shot, when you obviously can't do that for another demographic. What's your thoughts when you hear about something like this?
The same, disgusted. But really, and really quick, getting back to the names that you read, it's like, really, how many people even remember the names of the people that you read? And seriously, how many weeks are going to go by until we forget about Mike Brown?
Yeah.
And we get back to where we were before Mike Brown got in the news.
Right.
So listening to statements and things like that, it's almost like you can't argue, and if you argue, it's only because you're upset and it's the truth.
No, I got you. So, I actually agree with you, and it reminds me of something. And I'll do a case study right here on the spot. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, which I guess my question kind of will. But to speak to what you're saying, does anybody know who Troy Davis is? Anybody know who Troy Davis is?
Sounds familiar.
Was he the one that was in the high school mat?
He was not. He was not.
See,
he was not.
And I forgot that poor boy's name.
Now, in the interest of time, I'm not going to poll everybody, but Troy Davis was the dude in Georgia who was sentenced to death and executed a couple years ago, and everybody had his picture on their Facebook wall and free Troy Davis. He said he didn't do it. There was evidence that said that he didn't do it, and they tried to lobby against his execution, and guess what? They executed Troy Davis. And I remember at the time, we talked about it a lot on this show, that just what you just said, let's be, unless you actually get up and actually do something and make it more, than just kind of doing something now, you nailed it. I mean, if you, who's going to remember the name Mike Brown in a year from right now, a year from today? If it's not the cop going on trial for his murder a year from now, okay, you might be reintroduced to the name because you forgot it 6 months ago. But 2 years from now, we going to know?
And and I kind of feel bad, and it's kind of sad that we have to put fads to tragedy, because probably the only way that we'll remember Trayvon Martin is because we put our hoodies up.
Right.
So of course that will be the first thing that comes to mind too. So if you put something with Mike Brown, yeah, we probably will remember him a year from now, just like Trayvon Martin. But other than that, and it's funny, a coworker of mine stated that he was actually upset with my show, which is the Green Room version 2.0 with Jay Grizzy and comedian Alyssa P every Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. We encourage you here. Yes.
He was upset because he felt like when we talked about the Mike Brown situation, or maybe it was actually his show that he was listening to, because he stated that he wanted us to actually say what we needed to do. But I know when we get a call, everybody has to shut up, so I'm with it.
Not necessarily, but yeah, we always want to support our callers. Ain't no hashtag on Marcus J. You're on the live line with us, caller. What's your name? What you want to get in on?
What's up? It's DJ Renee Melendez from Jersey. How you guys doing?
What's up, DJ?
What's going on, sis? Plug your show before you get into your comment.
It's DJ Renee Melendez with Deep House Sessions each and every Saturday night from 7 to 9 p.m. only on LegacyInternetRadio.com.
You got it. What's your comment?
Basically, I kind of went in on a couple of people on Facebook today because I had said last week sometime that the National Guard needed to be brought in, and a cousin of mine who is a retired military said, no, you don't want the National Guard to come in because they're just going to shoot people and they're going to kill people. And I said to him, I said, well, they're not going to do too much different than the way the police are harassing the people right now, if that's the case. I said, but, yes, it's a tragedy. Yes, we're dealing with another, issue parallel to Trayvon Martin. It's very unfortunate the way Mike Brown was killed. Based on the forensics that came out today, we know that he was falling down to the ground when he was shot in the very top, the point of his head, and in his eye. So he was going down to surrender or put his hands up or whatever, or just falling down from the wounds themselves. But the question that we need to ask, first of all, is two things. Number one, we can't be looting and rioting. There's a difference in protesting peacefully to get your point across, and then there's also a difference in looting and rioting and acting, bad, because it gives white folks and even some Hispanics too, which goes into the other person I was arguing with on Facebook, happens to be a Latina female, and she's saying, well, the cops are just doing their job, and he was justified in using excessive force. You shoot somebody 6 times. The first, 3-4 bullets are in the arm or in the hand or the foot, whatever, okay? But to shoot somebody in the very top of their head or in their eye, and you say that that's justified excessive force, I don't think so. I disagree with that. And what I want to jump back to, though, is you got, white people, Hispanic people, maybe some Asians. I haven't had any dialogue with any of them. But you have other ethnicities saying, no, I'm married to a police officer, and my husband tells me what they go through out in the field, so the use of excessive force is justified. It's not. It never is, not to this extent. So I think that, and what I think is happening here in Ferguson is they're dragging their feet along so far so they can come up with some type of alibi for this guy or a justification as to why he shot Michael Brown so many times.
I can dig it.
That's basically all they're doing.
I could dig it. Ain't no half stepping with Marcus J. We're going to keep it moving. We got other callers that we got to get to, but one more time, tell us who you are and where we can find you.
This is DJ Renee Melendez out of New Jersey. Check me out on Saturday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. with Deep House Sessions with DJ Renee Melendez. Make sure you have your baby powder, your towel, and your bottle of water.
You got it. My sister. I'll talk to you soon, twin.
Later.
All right, peace.
Later, girl.
Ain't no half stepping on Marcus.
Bye.
Ain't no half stepping on Marcus J. All right, Dirk. I want to get you in on something that she said, Dirk. She said that this dude got shot in the crown of his head, which we know is the truth. Yeah. Tell us what your opinion is about that. And I got a caller, but I'm gonna have the caller just sit tight for a minute because I do want to get this point in. So caller, I know you're there. Just sit tight for a second, caller. Dirk, this dude got shot in the crown of his head. How does that happen?
If he was on the ground or if he was on his knees.
If he was on the ground or on his knees.
On his knees, either or. But
physically, the only way.
Yeah, and I mean, how tall was this young boy? Like 6 foot something.
He looked like a big guy.
About 6'4". Yeah, he was either on the ground or on his knees.
Right.
And did they not say that the officer was in the car doing the shooting?
Well, they also said that the young man didn't have any gunpowder on him, which tells you that there was certainly, whether the cop was in the car or not, there was some physical distance between them. Ain't no half step on Marcus J. Caller, I got you on the live line. What's your name? Where you calling from? Caller, turn your radio down.
I'm calling from
Caller, turn your radio down. I know I sound good, but I don't want to hear me through your radio.
And we hear you enough.
They hear me enough. They telling me. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? What you want to get in on?
Oh, I'm Jackie, and I'm calling from Philadelphia, and I'd like to comment on what you're talking about.
In the house.
I'm just gonna say this, man.
What you got, Jack?
I'm just saying this. I'm really, the problem with us as a people is the same problem that we've been having for a long time. We are reactive instead of proactive. Nobody cares what they does to us because they see us as a powerless people. And it's like we just don't do anything to invest. A lot of us do. I'm not going to say that we don't. But, I mean, we just don't do anything to, invest in ourselves so that we don't have these type of activities. We don't have these young men, looking like this, going into stores or whatever and try to rob stores or getting these type of stereotypes. We're not investing in our community. We just don't. And that's how come, it's so easy for people to pick with us because we're not taking care of ourselves. We just not, and they don't care about us. Because we don't care about ourselves. And I hate to say that, but it's true. We don't even unite until something like this happens.
I can dig it. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Jack, you got anything going on you want to share with our listeners?
Yeah. On Thursday, I'm having my first fundraiser for my company, Paradigm Shift. And what we do is we basically raise money to help people pay for school for their college tuition. So we're going to have that at Jolly's Lab in Philadelphia, August 21st. It's at 8 o'clock. It's a comedy show. Everybody should come out because I'm going to have Makai, Bam White, and also my boy Corey Marshall. So we're going to have a really, really good time. So those of you who are in Philadelphia, you can get a Jolly's Lab on Broad Street.
You got it.
Thursday, come out support. When you party with Paradigm Shift, you party for a good cause. So.
You got it. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. That sounds like a good company. We've talked about it before. We're going to have you come on a little bit more in-depth discussion about Paradigm Shift real soon. Is that okay with you?
That is great, Marcus. Thank you so much.
You got it. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus. You got it. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. We're going to take our first break of the night, and when we come back, we're going to get into some more stuff going on in Ferguson. We're going to talk a little bit more about this looting. There was someone on Fox News that had an interesting comment suggesting that this shoot of Mike Brown was justified. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about how there was $10,000 that was raised. I want to know what it was raised for. Marcus J and the crew. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. On the anniversary of my co-host S.Y. Butler, we excited. Ain't no hashtag with Marcus J. Be back in a minute.